Hey guys, welcome to my woods. This is where I grew up, and I had a lot of stuff in the back here where there used to be all kinds of trails, all kinds of even four-wheeler trails, and we built a bunch of forts back there. We played paintball in the woods. So I just want to take you guys through a little bit of my heritage through the woods, some things that I loved to do in the woods and in the wilderness, and just how I enjoyed God's nature, and see how you guys can enjoy nature as well. Hey guys, and we're back on the trail. So we trudged through some woods, and this trail, you can see, has been here for probably 15 years. I was going on this trail when I was in middle school. My friends and I would come out here. We'd go through this trail. We'd go to somewhere along this creek bed onto the side, and we'd make some forts. This is a trail that was our older brothers actually created for four-wheeling. So this is four-wheeling itself is a good way to engage in nature. A lot of people go through woods, trails, and have all kinds of fun in the woods, connecting with God's creation through four-wheeling even. But I'm going to show you guys how I connected with God and creation, had some fun as a middle schooler, and just some ideas of how you can have some fun in the woods. So here is where my friends and I would always, in middle school, we would trudge down this little hill here, and build a fort down there. There's a nice little spot that we would hang out on. We'd do all kinds of stuff. We would alternate the flow of the river. We would mess with different lizards or whatever. We would build, there's a little rope that we would climb up and down, just kind of like rock climbing. So we're gonna go down there. I'll share some memories, but this one in particular, I remember we'd bring some tools down here. My dad always said I owed him like 12 hammers because I'd always lose some hammers. But down at the bottom of the hill, I'm at the bottom of the hill, my friend's right here, and he throws a hammer down, and I turn, and he's like, "Oh, watch out!" Boom! A hammer like smashes me right here. I was okay, it was cool, and we continued our work on our fort that day. So come on, come join me down here, guys.
I know I'm going to tumble down.
What do I always talk about? What do I always talk about? Teamwork. Why don't we use some teamwork getting down this hill? Good luck, everybody. Help each other.
Put your feet sideways.
Good luck.
Carissa.
I got this. Leave me alone. If I fall, I fall. Can I hook now? Allie, if you push me, I'm gonna be mad. If I fall on my own, it's my own fault.
Whoa. Alright, hold on.
Oh, the rope's still there. The rope's still there. Really? Oh my God.
Then why did we use the rope?
You stay right there.
Because the rope's on a very steep hill.
Okay. That would have helped.
Yeah, can you hold that rope is right? It would totally break it. It would break. Alright guys, so this is where we built our fort, this kind of flat area. We had the creek near us. The creek is where sometimes we would build a dam, sometimes we'd often build bridges across it. Everything's kind of gone now, but we had built a bridge over there. This is kind of where we'd gather some water and clean it. But we built a fort right here. This is where we had a really cool fort. We'd camp out in this place. This is kind of how I grew up. I grew up, loved playing in the woods, love coming out here with my friends, building stuff, just messing with. You even have a rope over here. We have this tree log that we always had, and it kind of just was a great place for us to have our little camp outs, our hangouts. I mean, our rope's still here. This is the thing that we would climb up. And I'm surprised it still supports me. But we climb up this thing, come down, go across our log. Woo! So as fellas, that's just what I love, just doing As a guy, just loved going outside, loved having a good time out here. I remember one night we decided we were going to be real brave. We were like in 6th grade, and we're going to camp. We're going to sleep out here for the first time ever. And my brothers and cousins are at my house, which is about a quarter of a mile from here. And so we're out here camping and like terrified. I mean, we're every little noise, we're like, something's going to happen to us. There's wolves here. Like, I'm terrified of wolves. So I was like, dude, there are some wolves here. There ain't no wolves within 1,000 miles of here. But I thought for sure it was going to happen. But then my brothers, I know it, started coming down here, started making some noise, throwing rocks, even howling. Dude, I called my mom right away. Mom, tell my brothers to stop scaring us. Dude, it quit pretty quick. I was terrified. We went home that night. But, you know, spent some other nights out here, had some awesome times in the woods. And what about you guys? How have you guys enjoyed some of the woods as you were growing up? A lot of kids don't enjoy the woods. I even know my wife's classroom in 5th grade, she said, what'd y'all do this weekend? Did anybody climb a tree? And they're like, why would you climb a tree? Dude, I loved climbing trees as a kid. What about you guys? How did you guys enjoy nature when you were kids? Climbing trees? Yeah? What about anybody else?
When I was a kid, me and my best friend made a fort out back behind his house, and we did the same thing. We brought tools down there and chopped up some trees. It's fun.
Yeah, dude. Making forts.
Built a table.
Is we gonna be climbing stuff? Are you gonna be climbing stuff? Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen. That's why I was pushing my
You know whatever you're responsible for, if it falls in the water.
Here, I'll hold it.
It's Hannah's.
I'm gonna go put it
She would kill me.
on
She already said don't
that
play.
big old log thing. Is it slippery, Nick?
No.
Okay, good. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm not going.
Alright, Seth.
Very
I'm
fun.
handing you this. You put it on top of that log.
Don't let it.
Come this way.
This way.
And I'm throwing it in 3, 2, 1. Alright, man. Put it on top of that thing. You got hit by a tree?
Put it down.
Dude, that's how we get up and down with that rope, man.
That's scary.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot steeper then, too. I think a lot of erosion. Like, most of this area right here, at the bottom of it,
Yeah.
was pretty flat. Most of that was pretty flat. All that's rock. This tree fell down. That definitely was not part of it. So this kind of was all taken up by the tree. So this is kind of where my love for the woods started out as a middle schooler, older elementary school, building forts, hanging out by the river, building bridges, and it kind of transformed later on through later middle school and high school. We came out to these same woods. All throughout these woods we built different kinds of forts, and we played paintball. Paintball then kind of transformed into something I loved doing in the woods. There's a couple types of different paintball. There's speedball and woodsball. Woodsball I just loved a lot more because it was in the woods. And so we spent hours and hours down in the woods, and it was always an awesome, peaceful time where I felt just relaxed, where kind of stress of life kind of evaporated. This was always a time for me to even feel close to God. So I don't know, hopefully, you know, we've lost a lot of that art, a lot of that, kids just don't spend time in the woods, and so I want to invest that time in the belief of the woods can really help you, really straighten you out, help you become a man or a woman, because there are things that I had to figure out here by myself that I didn't have guidance from somebody else, that I just figured out. So really invest in time in God's creation and in the woods. Even later on in my life, the outdoors became even a romantic place where my wife and I love to hang out, where we spend time hiking, loving God's creation, beautiful views of God's creation, spend time outdoors looking at stars, just in the evenings, gazing at all the diamonds in the sky. And I use the word diamonds on purpose because that was kind of the key word in a poem that I wrote for my wife and proposed with that poem, talking about God's diamonds in the sky. And that's kind of how I proposed to my wife as we're gazing up at the diamonds in the sky. So, love God's outdoors, love this place, and this is kind of where it all started. This is my heritage. This is a place I spent in the woods, and I want to share that with you guys.